Let me ask you something uncomfortable. You've been doing everything right. You've been watching the videos, reading the books. Maybe you even started posting content, building your brand, or launching that business you've been thinking about for 2 years. And yet, nothing. No explosion. No viral moment. No sudden flood of income or recognition. So you start wondering, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe the people winning have something I don't. Here's the counterintuitive truth that most people never discover. The reason you're not seeing results yet has nothing to do with your talent, your timing, or your tool. It has everything to do with the fact that you've been waiting for a quantum leap, a single dramatic moment that changes everything overnight, when the real game is being played somewhere completely different. It's being played in your Tuesday afternoon. Your 6 a.m. decision. Your 5 quiet minutes of reading before you open Instagram. It's being played in the moments nobody sees, the ones that feel almost too small to matter. And that's exactly the trap. Today, we're going inside one of the most underrated philosophy books ever written, The Slight Edge, by Jeff Olson. Not a self-help cliche, not a motivational poster. A framework that, once you understand it, you cannot unsee. Stay until the end, because there's a concept buried in the final chapters of this book that Jeff Olson calls the secret weapon of achievement, and I'll show you exactly what it is and how to use it. Jeff Olson opens this book with a radical claim. Everything you need to know about success can be summed up in one idea. Easy to do, easy not to do. Read that again. The actions that will build your dream life, reading 10 pages a day, saving a small percentage of your income, exercising for 20 minutes, having one meaningful conversation are all easy to do. But they're equally easy not to do. And that's the entire problem. See, our brains aren't wired for gradual progress. Evolutionary psychology tells us we're designed to respond to immediate threats and immediate rewards. If you eat the berry right now, you survive. If you outrun the predator, you live. But compound growth? Long-term investment? Showing up for 60 days in a row with no visible payoff? That's not a survival mechanism. That's a chart of philosophy. And most people never build the philosophy. They stay on autopilot, waiting for a massive external event to change their internal trajectory. Here's what Olson argues, and what the data consistently confirms. There is no quantum leap. There is only the slight edge. Success is not a dramatic explosion. It's the accumulation of small, daily disciplines, so quiet, so subtle, that they're almost invisible, until suddenly, they're undeniable. This is why the person who spends 2026 posting consistently on YouTube, even with low numbers, even in the uncertainty, that person will be in a completely different position by 2028 than the one who waits for the right moment to go all in. Slight Edge doesn't care about your motivation levels. It only cares about your consistency. Jeff Olson identifies what he calls the 7 slight edge disciplines. Let's break each one down, not as theory, but as a wealth and growth framework. Discipline 1. Show up. Sounds embarrassingly simple, but Olson's point is surgical. Most people show up when they feel inspired. Slight edge practitioners show up regardless. The discipline of consistent presence in your business, your craft, your relationships is the foundation that everything else is built on. Discipline 2. Show up consistently. Showing up once is a decision. Showing up every day is an identity. This is where compound growth begins. Not in the grand gesture, but in the quiet repetition. Every time you post, practice, or invest when you don't feel like it, you're making a deposit into an account most people don't even know exists. Discipline 3. Have a positive outlook. This is not toxic positivity. This is strategic optimism. Olson argues, and neuroscience backs him up, that a future-oriented mindset physically changes the decisions you make today. If you genuinely believe your actions are building towards something real, you tolerate discomfort differently. You see obstacles as data, not verdicts. Discipline 4. Be committed to a long-term vision. Here's the wealth mindset piece. Most people plan for weeks. High performers plan for decades. Warren Buffett didn't build Berkshire Hathaway on quarterly thinking. He built it on a philosophy of time. Your slight edge requires the same framework. What does success look like in 10 years? Work backward from there. Every daily action is either moving you toward that vision or silently moving you away from it. Discipline 5. Cultivate a burning desire fueled by reason. Motivation fades, but reason's murderers compound. When your desire for financial freedom, creative fulfillment, or generational change is tied to a deep personal reason, a face, a memory, a why that lives in your chest, that desire becomes self-sustaining. Olson calls this motive fuel. We'll come back to this. Discipline 6. Be willing to pay the price. Every breakthrough has a hidden invoice. The breakthrough moment you see, the viral video, the business scaling, the body transformation, is only the public delivery of a payment that was made quietly, over time in the private hours. The slight edge asks you, are you willing to pay the invoice before you see the result? Nibes Discipline 7. Practice slight edge integrity. This is the one most people skip. It means doing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. Your integrity with yourself is the single most reliable predictor of your long-term outcome. Because the person you become through slight edge integrity is the person capable of holding the success when it arrives. You've probably heard the penny doubling analogy. A penny doubles every day for 30 days. You end up with over $5 million. But let's make this relevant to 2026. Imagine a YouTube channel. Day 1, 50 views. Day 30, still grinding. Day 90, the algorithm starts to notice. By month 12, with consistent slight edge disciplines applied, that creator is often unrecognizable from where they started. Or think about a simple investment discipline. Putting away a percentage of your income every single month, starting now rather than when things settle. The maths of compound interest isn't a secret. But the psychology required to let it work, the patience, the trust in the invisible progress, that's where most people fail. Jeff Olson uses the image of the asterisk water hyacinth, a plant that doubles in size every single day on a pond. For most of the 30 days, you barely notice it. It covers less than 1% of the pond. Then, almost overnight, it covers everything. That's the slight edge at work. The growth is happening the entire time. You just can't see it yet. This is the part of the book that separates those who make it from those who don't. Olson calls it the invisible period. James Clear calls it the plateau of latent potential. The concept is the same. There is a gap, sometimes months, sometimes years, between when you begin the slight edge disciplines and when the results become visible. And here is the brutal reality. 99% of people quit inside the invisible period. Not because the strategy isn't working, but because they can't see it working. And our brains interpret no visible result as, this isn't working, so they pivot. Try something new, start over, and reset the compounding clock every single time. The people who build real sustainable success in wealth, in creative work, in health, in relationships, are not smarter. They are simply willing to stay in the invisible period longer than everyone else. They've developed what Olson calls slight edge faith, not blind faith, but evidence-based trust. They've seen the penny doubling model. They understand the water hyacinth. They know that the graph is moving even when the screen looks flat. If you're building something right now and it feels like nothing is happening, you're in the invisible period. The question isn't whether the slight edge is working. The question is whether you'll still be there when it surfaces. Remember at the beginning, I told you there's a concept Jeff Olson hides in the final chapters, a secret weapon. Here it is. Momentum plus completion plus reflection. Olson argues that most people read books, attend seminars, and consume information, but never complete the cycle. The slight edge isn't just about doing the daily disciplines. It's about building the habit of finishing things, then reflecting on what worked, then transferring that wisdom forward. This is the meta skill, The compounding of lessons, not just actions. Every piece of content you finish, every project you complete, every book you actually close rather than abandon halfway, it adds to a growing internal library of what works for you. And that library becomes your competitive advantage. This is the vested interest philosophy. You're not just investing time, you're investing understanding. And understanding compounds faster than almost anything else. Here's the philosophy Jeff Olson wants to leave with you. Success is not a secret. It is not hidden behind a mastermind course, a viral hack, or a lucky break. It is hidden in plain sight, inside your most ordinary days, your most boring decisions, your quietest hours. The person who wins is not the one who had the best start. It's the one who understood that the game is played in the accumulation of small, unglamorous, easy-to-skip moments. You already know what your slight edge actions are. You don't need more information. You need the philosophy to take them seriously. So here's the only call to action that matters today. Don't just watch this. Don't just think that's interesting. Apply the slight edge. Pick one daily discipline. Just one. Something small enough that you could do it today and every day for the next 30 days. Then protect that habit like it's the most important asset you own, because compounded over time, it is. The water hyacinth doesn't ask if it's growing fast enough. It just grows.